How's it going, everyone out there? Um, Sorry for the cheap, crappy setup. You know, taking a page out of Sony's book, I guess. But yeah. So I actually been kind of want to talk about this for a while. Um, and again, I apologize. I know the video quality is pretty bad. The laptop is out of commission at the moment, and I'm gonna get some stuff to get that resolved. So hopefully we have everything back up and running. So as you see, it's not the normal setup for the movie reviews or anything. This is not really a movie review though, so kind of a discussion, and I felt like I had to. Yes, it is related to movies. Um, if you see the description, you probably know what I'm going to talk about. Uh, it's a big YouTuber. Something I normally don't do. I normally don't talk about other YouTubers on this channel. Um, but I felt it was important because this one kind of hit me a little bit, and I'm a huge fan. I was a huge fan of this YouTuber. I've been watching for years. You guys probably know Chris Stuckman. Uh, he needs no introduction, but in case you happen to stumble upon my video and you don't know who he is, huge YouTuber. He's been around for over a decade. Um, he's made a ton of. He pretty much built his 2 million plus followers off of film and critic reviews. Uh, he's big, so he's a lot bigger than my channel with 66 subscribers and uh, so but he pretty much he released a video a few days ago. I watched the video a few days ago under the impression that he was going to be reviewing the new Madam Web movie, uh, and I'm actually going to review it myself too. I have to go. I was planning on seeing it this weekend so I can review it, but I figured to get a video out. I haven't had a video up in a very long time, so uh, and this is just something I've been thinking about after I saw his video, and I just watched his video like 5 minutes ago, so I can get it fresh in my mind is what he was talking about. So so Chris Stuckman he made a video with a Madam Web thumbnail, and below he said we need to talk about this. So actually, let me even go back further than I apologize. Uh, so back in 2000 2021, I think it was 2020 or 2021, Chris Tuckman announced that he was no longer going to do negative reviews on movies. All his reviews were going to be purely positive. He was only going to review good movies. Uh, so that immediately turned me off from his channel. I didn't want to watch his channel anymore. I'm still subscribed to him. I think he seems like a good guy to me. We both live in Ohio. I live in Columbus, Ohio. I don't know what part of Ohio he lives in. I remember him saying he lived in like a small town or something like that. Uh, Seems like a good guy. And the one thing I always tune into, or when I watch any critics review channel, I usually tune in to hear both good and bad movies. I like the element of surprise when I'm watching movie reviews. When I see people's movie reviews, I like the element of surprise. So when Chris Tuckman announced that he was only reviewing good movies or he was only going to review positive movies, I immediately stopped watching him. I actually haven't watched Chris Tuckman since he announced that. And when I saw he wasn't doing it, he said he wasn't even going to do a worst movies list. Um, and I was like, I can get that from anybody else. I don't. I like to be surprised by your channel. You may have a different opinion from somebody else, but if all your movie reviews are positive, what's the point of watching your channel? That, at least that's how I feel. I don't know how you guys feel out there, but that's that's how I sort of took that. Uh, so kind of getting into his video. So I honestly thought I was excited. I was like, oh my god, this dude is actually going to review Madam Web. Um, and from the thumbnail, if it was a little misleading, it was a little deceptive, I think, because I thought he was actually going to have a negative, or at least go in on Madam Web and review it, which he didn't. So pretty much what he did was he had, so he immediately starts the video off telling you he's not going to review the movie. Um, he said this is not a review of the movie Madam Web. So immediately, so my first thought was, then why did you make this video if you weren't going to review it? You literally built your channel off of being a film critic, a review channel. You know, why would you not review a movie? Why would you not do the thing you built your audience off of? Which again, I thought was a little deceptive. Uh, so then he goes in and he proceeds to um, talk about uh, how art is really hard, and writers and directors, um, they have their they're usually influenced by studios. They don't have a say so. They have no input, which was a little perplexing when he brought up that point, considering uh, if people who watch his channel, or just people who watch review channels in general, they already know this information. Like this has been happening before YouTube was even a thing. That's so I was a little thrown off, but I was like, okay, yeah, we already know this. So what is he getting at? So in a nutshell, it just felt like he was basically saying we shouldn't blame the writers and we shouldn't blame the directors for a bad movie. Uh, something and he which was confusing to me because he says it wasn't a review of Madam Web, but which he never reviews the movie. But in the same token, the way he was talking, he didn't like the movie. The movie was he didn't even think the movie was very good. So I'm thinking like, okay, you either review the movie or you still don't even make the video. Like what are you doing here? Like, why are you being so vague? We know you didn't like the movie. You should just reviewed it and said it was terrible. That's at least the vibe I got from. But he was trying. But you see, he was dancing so hard to not mention that the movie was bad. He knew the movie was bad. He just didn't say it. Um, like if you read between the lines, it's very obvious he didn't like the movie. So he says it's not the writer. The big thing I did, now I do agree with him on studio interference, but again, it's pointless. So what? We all know that. There's a huge history of studio interference, and again, the people who watch your channel, they know this. Like, why are you telling us something we already know? So, uh, so he goes on about that, and then he goes into this long tangent. He even so much as uses the clip from Nicolas Cage's, where Nicolas Cage was the overacting boss, and the girl he's chewing out in his office has the word writer over her head, and then Nicolas Cage has the word studio over his head to try to drill the point home a little bit more. Um, Again, we know this. Uh, and my thing with that is I disagree because it's like, this is Madam Web, okay? Um, Sony clearly got the same writers who do not have the best track record, and they didn't work for Sony. They worked for other studios. Gods of Egypt, These are the same writers that wrote Morbius. These are the same writers that wrote Dracula Untold. Gods of Egypt, considered one of the worst movies ever made. Um, their highest ranked movie was Dracula Untold, and that's barely a 25% on Rotten Tomatoes. The director herself has a bad track record. I believe she was the one who was slated to do the spinoff to uh, Game of Thrones. Yep, she's slated to do a spinoff to Game of Thrones, and her pilot was so terrible they canceled the spinoff. Like, come on, like at, at, at some point, I see what Chris is trying to say, but in the same sense, it's pointless. Like, okay, we know there's studio interference, but at the same time, we also know that not every writer in Hollywood is talented. Not every director in Hollywood is talented. Not every actor in Hollywood is talented. Um, there's conversations about this all the time. This is what's bothering me about what he said, because in these circles, don't aren't there writers and directors that don't are writers and directors that are hired because their their dad and their mom were actors or directors, or they know a niece or a cousin or somebody like that who can easily get them into Hollywood. That doesn't necessarily mean they're talented. They just have connections. Um, I mean, my goodness, the actress who is the main character in the movie he refuses to review, her parents are actors. She didn't get him because of her talent. Come on, like, what are we doing here? I mean, he's saying this like nepotism isn't a thing. Um, it happens all the time in Hollywood. Like, what are we doing here? Um, because he says, you know, these writer, because he's basically saying because these people are talented and it's really hard to make a movie that they shouldn't be poorly criticized. I disagree with that. Because at that point you're 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 making a biased observation. On that point, you're being biased. I'm really sorry for this bad camera call. I can see this camera call is horrible on this phone. I'm sorry. It's not exactly 4K or anything, but you know, trying to roll with it. I'm sorry, but yeah, I just feel like to say like criticism, you shouldn't criticize somebody because they worked really hard on something. No, that's false. People work hard on things all the time. Uh, they're writer and directors who don't work hard, who will tell you they don't work hard on certain things, who flat out tell you I did this for the paycheck. Why'd you do this? Oh, it was an easy paycheck. You know, they didn't care about the movie they were working on. Like what are we doing here? That's why I was watching this and I'm like, I don't understand what he's talking about. Personally, I feel like if you ask me, I think the video was a waste of 16 minutes. I don't even feel like the video even should have been made. To be honest with you, I feel like if you're, and I'm not telling Chris Stuckman to run this channel. He can run his channel any way he wants to. I'm probably barely people are going to watch this video anyway, but um, you know, he can run his channel any way he wants to. That's completely fine. I'm not telling the man, you know, run your channel however you want to. From one Ohioan to another, you know, you run your channel the way you want to. I just really disagree with you saying that we should only review positive movies or review movies positive, because what you're basically advocating is for Hollywood to just make more garbage, because you know we're not allowed to review bad movies. But if we don't review the bad movies, how are people supposed to even know movies are bad? How are people supposed to know any film critic's takes. How is anybody supposed to know what movies to look out for and what movies not to look out for? Because you refuse to review them. And again, like I just said, you can run your channel any way you want to. I feel like, if you want to just review good movies and not review bad movies, I think that's a little disappointing, considering that's the reason why I subscribed to and watched your channel in the first place. I thought your hilariosity reviews are really funny. I think it's weird that you're taking this stance now, but you'll still keep up your negative reviews, which I thought that was weird. Um, you Some of the points I'm making, you've made these points on your channel, so that's the thing I don't understand. Um, and then I do feel like this is very harmful. Um, I literally watched a conservative channel where these guys are eating up what Chris Stuckman is saying. Um, Even so much so as to where a guy was like, "Yeah, you know, I um, I work on and write a movie, and I have these young people coming out of college who has never made a movie in their life, and they don't know what they're talking about, but they're going to tell me how to make a movie," which is probably dumbest, the dumbest take I've ever heard in my entire life. So let me go ahead and take that guy's same instance. So I'm not. I mean, I'm trying to learn how to cook now, but I'm not the best cook in the world. But I can go to a restaurant. I can never be a cook ever, but I can go to a restaurant and taste somebody's food and tell it's bad. So am I not allowed to give my opinion because I've never cooked anything before? Yeah, that's the stupidest take ever. If I'm watching a stupid movie or a terrible movie and I know it's terrible, I'm gonna I don't have to be a movie director to tell you the movie's terrible. I've said a lot of movies are bad. I've never been a movie director a day in my life, but I know what I'm looking at. I know what I'm visualizing. I know dialogue. I know character development. I know all these things. So for that guy to come out and go like, well, yeah, you've never directed a movie in your life, so you can't tell me how to make a movie. That is a stupid take, and that'll get you nowhere. Um, the whole point of film criticism, and I don't understand this new generation of film criticism. The point of criticism is not to hate on somebody. It's not a personal attack. It's literally to criticize the art that's in front of you. It's supposed to hurt your feelings because it's supposed to make you better. Criticism is constructive. Criticism is supposed to make you a better writer, a better filmmaker, a better something. When you put your art out there, you you subject your art to criticism. That's just how it is. People get criticized for things every day. I don't know where this new mentality suddenly came from for criticism. You get criticized all the time. A worker at McDonald's gets criticized for their work performance. Anytime you go to a job, you get criticized for your work performance. If you're slacking off and you're not doing anything, you're going to get criticized for your work. That's just how it goes. I don't understand. It's the same thing for film criticism. I remember, um, and again, like I said, I really don't agree with Chris Stockman on this. As you could tell, I don't agree on his take. But um, I remember I was going to Ohio State creative writing class. We had an assignment. We all sat at a round table and we all had this assignment. Assignment was go home, write a 1 page story. Uh, it was different genres too. I think it was creative nonfiction, fiction, poetry, something else. And then what we did was we came into class the next day. We switched stories with each other, and then we had to read. Or no, we posted them online. Sorry, and then we had to read those stories and then we had to come in and give our critique of each other's stories. There are people who like my stories. There's people who didn't like my stories, but that's part of criticism. You know, when you I'm an author, okay. The thing with this and I want you to criticize my stories. I tell people all the time, I'm like, hey, I even tell people before they read it, I'm like, hey, if you think it's terrible, let me know. Tell me it's terrible. I'd rather you be honest with me. You know, like when you get into art and stuff like that, you have to have a thick skin for this stuff. I actually told somebody who wrote a really bad story online. I told him, I was like, look, because he got defensive about it. I was like, look, first of all, you posted your stuff online so the public can read it. So guess what? It's open for criticism. That's what you decided to do. You open your story for criticism. So anytime you do that, just know when you write a story and you put something out there in the open, you have to develop a thick skin. You could write the most perfect book in the world. So there's people who's not going to like it. Maybe because they don't like that character, or maybe they feel like the story is boring, or maybe the story's not their speed. Maybe it's too long. Maybe they think it's too short. Somebody's going to criticize your work somewhere. So for Chris Stuckman to come out and say that we shouldn't criticize people's stuff because they work hard on it, that doesn't mean anything. So what? You worked hard on it. I applaud you for working hard on it. But if it has problems, those problems need to be addressed so that way you don't make those problems again. You can improve as an artist. That is the point of criticism. The point of criticism is to be constructive. Criticism is also supposed to help you improve, get better. You can take that criticism, you can ignore it. That is completely fine if you ignore it. You'll just never improve. Um, and that, and I bring up somebody like Tyler Perry, who who gets criticized all the time and just ignores it. That's why he's never improved. But that's a whole different. But my whole point is that is the point of criticism. The point of criticism is not a personal attack. I don't know where this new generation came from, where suddenly now criticizing somebody's work is a personal attack on them, and it's not. It's to help you get better. It's to help you improve. It's to help you do better. You think I want to sit here and watch a terrible movie? I don't want to watch a terrible movie. I want to watch good movies. But if a movie sucks, I'm gonna say this movie sucks. Like I don't like it. That's why I put this, the stuff on my channel. I looked at my stuff. I didn't realize I did 72 movie reviews. That's a lot. I have a list of 72 movie reviews. And and I plan on doing a lot more this year. I plan on being way more active this year with the movie reviews. uh, so I don't know. I just don't think this whole, let's not attack writers, directors, stuff like that. And it's like the writers and directors of Madam Web, they have a horrible track record. So at some point, you have to blame them too. They're not good. They've proven over and over again they're not it. Uh, it's clear. Um, it's clear that Sony needs to hire some good writers. Stop cheapening out. And I've always had that theory. Because, well, I was gonna say, well, actually, I was gonna talk about Chris Stuckman's. That was his theory, was that Sony had a hand in Madam Web, and it's like that's a theory, man. You don't know that. You weren't there. You weren't there during the creative process. That's just a thought. You don't know that for sure. But what we do know for a fact is these writers have a terrible track record, as it just went over earlier, and this director has a terrible track record. So you can only sum up two things, because even for the movie, I haven't even seen the movie yet, but I was like, man, this is not going to be a good movie. I saw Morbius. Morbius was awful. I mean, like, like, and then you brought back the same garbage writers, and then you brought in this garbage director because they were cheap. Like, come on, man. It was clear Sony was trying to save money. Like, like, what are we doing here? Like, and we know for a fact, like, um, Sony is trying to bring in this stupid cinematic universe where where they're crapping these movies out. uh Craven the Hunter isn't looking any better, you know. um I mean, look at Madam Web. It was doomed to fail from the get-go. I mean, a lot of people don't care for that character to begin with. So uh I kind of went on for a while. No, I felt like I said, I saw this video the day it came out because I was excited. I was like, oh man, he's actually going to review this. And again, that was deceptive. I don't like clickbait. I don't like using clickbait on my videos, and this was clearly a clickbaity video. I get again what Chris Stuckman is trying to do. He crowdfunded a film. I didn't bring this up in the video. He crowdfunded a film um called Shelly Oaks. It got a lot of backing. I think he got over $1 million easy from the backing, and he is in the process of putting that movie together. So congratulations for him, man. He's doing good. But this is very misleading information, um, and it's harmful. It's harmful in this critical space because now you're going to have people thinking that um, this is film criticism now. Again, the guy has over 2 million views. He or 2 million followers. He has a sizable amount of subscribers, over 2 million subscribers. Um, and he's saying this, and now this is going to be he's basically poisoning the pool and setting a new standard for film criticism, which is going to make small channels like me hard to blow up. Small channels like anybody. Period. No, that's not fair. It's not right. Um, and then I had another point too. What if you have what if Chris Stuckman? What if he did this? What if he had this really aspiring filmmaker, right, or screenwriter, watched him for the past 15 years that he's been out now. 15, I think it's 15 years that he's been out. Aspiring filmmaker, aspiring screenwriter, and they decide that they watch this video. This video comes out, and so now they've been following him so faithfully. Now they feel like, you know what, he's right. It should be about if I try hard. Uh, people can't criticize me for it. He's doing a disservice to that person because he's not preparing them. Any person that you prepare for that, you should tell them, like, look, when you get into this business, you gotta have thick skin, okay? Because you are going to be criticized, whether good or bad. You're going to be criticized. By him telling them that they shouldn't be criticized because they worked hard on a project, that does not help them at all in the least bit. That hurts them more than anything. Because when they do get criticized, they're not going to know how to take that. And they're looking at Chris Stuckman, a guy who built his channel off of reviews, who now decides he's only going to review good movies, which blows my mind. I don't understand the mindset. But again, it's his channel. I have no say in that. He can do whatever he wants. And now he's telling this aspiring writer or filmmaker this false information, and now they're going to go into the industry carrying this false information. It's not right. It's I don't think it is. So I don't know what I know. I'm some do with terrible camera quality and 66 subscribers. So I don't know. But I felt like I really had to talk about this. Uh, but I will be bringing out some reviews. I promise that this quality is going to be a little bit better. I'm actually recording this on my phone, so that's why the quality is a little rough. But like I said, I felt like I had to get it out. I was going to try to get this out this weekend, but with everybody getting their opinions out, um, and then I had some differing opinions from other people too. So I felt like I had to get mine out pretty soon, considering, like I said, I saw the video when it came out. I'm subscribed to Chris Stuckman, so once it popped in my notification feed, I went home and watched it immediately. And I was disappointed by the video. Like I said, I felt like this video was a waste of time. It was a waste of 16 minutes. Yeah, 16 minutes and 10 seconds. It's a waste of time. He was better off not even putting up the video. I'm just going to be honest with you. Um, So because he's really dividing a lot of his fan base with this video, I don't think it was a good idea for him to release it. He should have just kept to his new format to not even talk about bad movies and just review good movies. So, but yeah, it was my half an hour rant. So like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and hopefully we have some better quality next time. All right, see you later. Good night.